Tuesday, June 11th, and I am filming in full daylight. I am filming in a lot of full daylight. I am cooking, boiling away here in my apartment. Allergies have taken over enough that I keep my doors and windows shut for the most part, but in pure desperation I have to open them now and then. I'm keeping the curtains drawn entirely, because otherwise my furniture will melt. And I'm too boiled and too much in clutches of both allergy and allergy medication to film any videos, but I'm still capable of doing the prep work, so I'm drawing the cards for the videos. I've got once I'm done with this one, I've got, I think, 4 videos ready to film. I just need the right situation to get it done. And then it starts entering the part of the system that isn't really designed yet as much. I've got the production method more or less down. Still a lot of fine polishing to do. But what I still struggle a bit with is the channel structure. Because I've created that Facebook group I talked about yesterday, where people can join up to follow what's happening. But it's not that anyone is or will for a good time, if at all. I don't know. The trick is that even if you have a bunch of people who are interested in hearing what you have to say, actually pushing a button to hear it is a very big cliff for a lot of people. If you have 100 people who want to listen, and right now I don't, because I don't. Well, the old Danish video is actually closing in on 5,000 views, but that's a whole other ballgame. But in general, I don't have 100 people. But if there are 100 people, and you say, okay, cool, you just have to click here to see the videos, you're going to lose 80 people right there, maybe more, because the idea that, oh, I have to actually click something, that is a major decision for a lot of people, and I don't know why, but it is for me too. I'm no different from them in that regard. It's just a weird facet of human nature, and weird facets of human nature seem to be what it seems to be the title for my day today, because I've been talking to Greenland. Well, not entire Greenland, but I have been talking to people in Greenland who are responsible or going to be responsible for getting my belongings home. The trick is there are 2 companies involved. One that packs things up and sends them off, and the one that actually is doing the transport back home. Well, there's someone receiving back home too, but that I'm not that worried about. As soon as my things are at least here, it's the Greenland part I'm worried about. And I'm extra worried now because it turns out that the ones doing the freight from Greenland to Denmark don't want me to pay. They want the other company to pay. I offered them to pay straight away, no problem. No, that would be too easy. We want the others to pay, because the world is full of... I'm starting to think that there are no big problems in the world. The world is just full of low-level problems of sheer stupidity. And it's insane, but it seems to confirm far too much. There's a guy running really funny on the roof outside. There's a big roof outside, you may have seen it. But anyway, they want them to pay, and the other company says that they're not the ones who are supposed to pay, but now just wrote them and said, they said you're supposed to pay, so I'm just going to pay you. Please send me a bill, and we'll see what... Stupidity. Another thing to get back to the videos, in fact, is that I created that group, but I've still got a problem, I think, in that because I'm uploading all of these daily videos, 3 per day, Danish, English, German, they kind of crowd out my channel. And the educational videos, once they start coming, I'm not sure that they can really peek through that. I think they will be crowded out by the others here. So I'm thinking about doing another channel. I've even erected another channel, set it up, and just set it up for what they call monetization, where you actually earn something when your videos are shown. But the trick is that here we have another set of just foolishness on. It's weaponized foolishness. I'm not going to go stupidity. It's not outright stupidity. It's foolishness. Weaponized foolishness. Because you have to have a separate email to make a new account. Fine, you don't want people crowding you out, but that's just, you just go in, make an email somewhere, and I've got a website, so I can basically mass create emails, no problem. But then the whole question comes in, and you need a phone number, but apparently I could use the phone number that I've used before, and I don't know why. I don't remember if it's the same phone number I've used before, but it's something to verify your account. Fine, it works. But the question is, when I set up the channel LimeDark1, I had to jump through quite a few hoops because it's connected to a Google account, and you need a Google AdSense account, and you need to blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. That took me a while. And the odds are that I will have to do that again for each channel I add, and I now am talking about one extra channel so that I have LimeDark1 for the daily videos, LimeDark2 for the educational videos, but I've also got my upcoming board game design series, and I've got potential for a computer game design series because I'm writing the computer game. I think it's the only computer project that will be taken up at that level. The others are just mine to fiddle around with. And the project I talked about the last few days will probably not earn a channel just yet because it's kind of part of the idea that it's a loose cannon on its own. But I have no problems with making more channels. I'm a fan of the Vsauce channel, which has 3 or 4, just Vsauce 1, 2, 3, and 4. If they have 4, I don't remember. I know they have 3. I don't have a problem if I have LimeDark 1, 2, 68 for that matter. It doesn't really matter to me. The problem is, it seems like so much unnecessary administration. So I'm going to try and figure out how I can minimize that. But odds are, for some silly reason, they have something to avoid people making it easier for themselves. And it's just, the silliness is getting to my head and digging into my brain. But these are small potatoes. So I'm cooking a bit in my apartment, so I have a bit of allergies, so I'm struggling with some stupid paperwork to get all of my belongings to Denmark, not knowing if they're even broken or working or whatever. So this, so that. There are plenty of people who have... When I said that the world, not my life, but the world is built on low-level stupidity, I meant it, because the things it's just the title of the day. I've heard from one of my friends who was at an exam, and I've heard from a lot of friends about exams because, hey, I'm a teacher, and hey, a lot of my friends study. But the things about kids going into panic, or young adults going into panic. And when I say young adults, I mean people in their freaking mid-20s sometimes. It's all over the map. People going into a panic, running away, crying in the middle of exams. I've heard stories about kids collapsing from sheer nerves. What? And schools are apparently horribly inadequate at handling these situations. It seems like everybody is just acting as if things are working, and once you stop acting, you're gonna get terrified. And I am terrified at what I see. But I guess that's just the way things work, or the way things don't work, as it is. So, hey, my life is perfectly survivable, nothing wrong. In fact, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm actually starting to enjoy the feeling of roast pig, and not the feeling of touching roast pig, the feeling of being a roasted pig. So, but it's weird and it's silly and it should be solved, but nobody wants to touch it. And I don't know why. Well, I have ideas, but that's all they are, and that's why I'm not going to mention them. So, I move on. Going to make a couple of cards more today. Tomorrow, hopefully, the allergies will not be so severe, because I expect to go filming for the board game series, and we'll see what happens.